What's up, banana bunch? Bunch? Bunch?
Welcome to the Jungle Gyms podcast. What's up, Banana Bunch? You know what time it is. It's time for another episode of the Jungle Gyms podcast. I'm your host, Mark. Welcome to the show. Listen, I'm getting all the clerical stuff out of the way real fast. I need you to download the Jungle Gyms app. We just pushed out a huge update. It's going to help you with your shopping. There's exclusive app deals. You can watch the 5 most recent episodes of the podcast. You can look at the weekly ad in advance. You can shop the store. You can find products. It is really incredibly useful. I can't wait. Now, this week is going to be fun because we're partnering up with the HorrorHound Festival coming up here in just a few weeks down the street at the Sharonville Convention Center. And we're going to be giving away some tickets for that. So stay tuned. We're sitting down with the HorrorHound team today, but I want to make sure that you follow both us and HorrorHound on social media because that's how you're going to find out about those free tickets. So in the meantime, let me introduce you to the team from HorrorHound. The most horrifying episode of the Jungle Gyms podcast yet. We're doing a whole HorrorHound special today. Let's go around the room and introduce ourselves. I'll start on this side of the table.
I'm Nathan Hanneman. I'm the promoter of the show.
Awesome. Nathan?
Yeah. I'm Jessica Hanneman. I am the copy editor for the magazine.
Awesome.
I'm Jody Coverhouse, and I deal with sponsorships.
Sweet. And that's why we're here today, right?
That's right.
All right, who wants to take this one from me? I always start the episodes this way. Explain it like I'm 5. Who are you and why are you in my office right now?
Oh my gosh. Well, we're actually entering our 20th year in existence.
Damn, that's crazy. It's really been 20 years?
It's about 20 years almost.
That's amazing. Congratulations. That's so cool.
Thank you. But yeah, I got my start working in both toy industry and publishing. So about 20 years ago, me and my cousin Jeremy decided, let's start a magazine. My only real interests were wrestling and horror other than toys.
Sure.
And so I already worked at a toy magazine. So we were like, let's start a horror magazine. So me and my buddy Aaron and Jessica, we all started working on it. And all of a sudden we were like, got to have a convention because all the old ones, Fangoria, Famous Monsters, they had conventions. So 2007, we started doing conventions, just flying in whatever celebrities we could get. And,
Sure.
And it's just grown and grown from there. We've done roughly 40 conventions.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah, because I remember, I know I've gone to one in Indiana, obviously the ones here in town, and we're back at Sharonville Convention Center, right?
We are.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah, and we've done them everywhere. We've done Columbus. We've done Pittsburgh. We've even gone all the way out to California to put on official Halloween movie
amazing.
Conventions.
Oh my gosh. How crazy was that?
It was pretty nuts. It's the Halloween franchise, the movie franchise.
Yeah,
not
I figured it was all John Carpenter music the whole time, right?
But those fans, they're dedicated.
Oh, yeah. They're all dressed up as Season of the Witch characters, too. They're like, I like the hard-to-like one.
Yeah.
It was like, that's like every... I just came back from a toy show, so I'm like in the throes of that right now where you're like, everyone's like, oh, we only like the deep-cut references. Mask is making a return. I was like, okay, so that's... Yeah, I got to play with the prototypes this week. It was very cool. I was like,
sweet.
Why'd you let me touch that kind of... You know what I mean? Because some of the brands were like, sir, you look like someone we shouldn't let touch things.
So you went out to Toy Fair?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, my first time doing it too. I've done a couple. I did like Toy Fest in Vegas last year, and we did one of the Astra toy shows, but Toy Fair was like a whole different game.
I'm old school. I haven't been to a Toy Fair in 20 years.
Oh, I see. That's awesome though.
But I went for like 7-8 years in a row.
Well, I heard that you went when it was even cooler than it was now. Because I have a buddy who was at Marvel for a while. He's like, dude, when I used to go in the 90s, it was like all kinds of like celebrities and stuff. I accidentally met Nikki Sixx this week at it. So I was like, oh, that was cool. But I didn't see anyone else recognizable.
No.
You know?
I remember going once and there was a toy company called Art Asylum, and we went into they're like, oh, let's hang out in the boardroom. We go in the boardroom. I'm sitting there. There's a guy at the end of the hall or table just reading something. I'm like, I know that guy. Who is that guy? And all of a sudden it's like, that's Gene Simmons.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Yeah.
He's just sitting there.
Just hanging out. No makeup.
Yeah.
Let down. I would have been like, Teach me to do the makeup, sir. Who was it? We had Bill Manspeaker from Green Jelly in here a while back, or Green Jello, excuse me, a while back in here, and he told a great story about Gene Simmons making delicious blueberry muffins. And he's like, that's the one thing, if I could tell anything about Gene Simmons, it would be that. He's like, that man knows how to make a delicious blueberry muffin. I was thinking about that clip last night for some reason. I was like, I got to pull that clip for the internet. It was really funny. Anyway. So you've been doing this almost 20 years. What are some of the challenges that you guys run into in like putting on a festival like this? Because this is a huge deal.
Challenges, early learning what we're supposed to do and what we weren't supposed to do, like insurance.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
But it was just a lot of growing to learn how to get celebrities even like in discussion to do a show.
Yeah.
Now there's, back 2007 is our first show. So back then there was only 4 or 5 people to call, and the selection of who was available was pretty limited.
Yeah.
Now, if you're in a movie, you're at a convention.
So true.
Yeah.
So. I keep joking that I'm like, I've been working as an actor for the last, like, it's been a little over 10 years now. And I keep, I always say, I'm like, I got to get into just one horror film at some point. Because I think if you get into one that's even just semi-decent, I think I'd be set for the rest of my career, you know?
Right.
And I've tried a bunch. And what I always loved about your festival is that you guys are not just, I mean, we talk about the celebrities, right? Like, that's really awesome. But I think one of the things that doesn't get sung enough of in regards to praises for you all is that you all actually support a lot of local artists too, and like local filmmakers. Like I saw Haunted House of Pancakes is premiering there this year with you guys and things like that. I mean, I think that's such a cool thing that doesn't get talked about enough. Are you all out there just sourcing people like this, or?
Yeah, we're just trying to find people who we can be friends with.
I love that.
And that's where our successes have really stemmed from. The Film Fest, the Zoe Judd, who is the Film Fest director, she just joined us 2021, 22, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. She's been coming to the shows for years. No one ever introduced her to me. Aww. Someone finally introduced her to me, and I'm like, got a job for you.
Yeah, that's so cool though.
And she's all over the local too. She's a filmmaker. She knows everyone. So yeah, getting local filmmakers involved has been very important to her.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, why not, right? I mean, like, well, because I feel like that's honestly, I think that's how we realistically connected here too, was like, I think through TikTok, but I've been going since, I think 2009 was maybe the first one, because I think it was one of the early ones going to.
At the hotel?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the highlights for me that year were Alex Winter. I don't want to say it this way, where it was like people were like, they were excited for him, but I feel like now if he came again, like this was before the documentaries he had done and Bill and Ted 3, obviously. And it was like that funny thing where I was just like, I get to go. It was him and Ernie Hudson that year in particular that I was really, really stoked about. And those pictures come up every so often in my Facebook memories. I'm like, oh, yeah. It's like times. And now you're selling out like arenas, you know?
No, it's fun. And it's fun. It's funny too. Some of the celebrities back then may have lines 10 times longer today, and I think it's because I don't think people back then understood how rare it was for somebody to come to the show. And right before we went on, we haven't announced it yet, but I just got confirmation that Linda Blair's coming to the show.
Oh, that's perfect. Okay, so now your exorcist makes so much more sense. Yeah. Well done, Jody.
I was trying to,
She's just planting Easter eggs in there.
I was hoping you'd catch on, but you did.
But someone like Linda back in the day, you would just go to the show. It's like, oh, Linda, blah, blah, blah. It's everything's new to you at a convention, so it's all on the same kind of like, it all has the same provenance. It all has the same weight to it. But now it's like, she hasn't been to a HorrorHound in 10 years. She doesn't leave her property very often because she cares, she does all the charity work and stuff with dogs.
Right.
And so it's like today, like everyone should be very wise enough to know it's becoming a rarer name.
That's a big name, yeah.
And so that's the interesting too over the years is someone like Alex Winter may not have been as interesting. He obviously was interesting to everyone who's interested. Sure. But now it's like, God, it took us forever to get him to come back. We just got him to come back a year ago. Yeah. And it took, that was 2010 was the one that, that you're thinking of. So yeah, it's 15 years almost.
It's crazy to think about. I also think there is this angle that like the pop culture landscape has changed a little bit too, where Not that it wasn't accepted, but I mean, growing up, I remember all the things I loved were the things that people made fun of me the most for now, but now they're just commonplace, right? Like all of the comic books and horror films, metal, you name it, right? Like anything. And now it's like shifted where it's like, next few weeks are all different cons, right? And they're all different ones. And I'm like, wow. And they're all sold out events where, 15, 20 years ago, you'd have a decent crowd. There wasn't as much fervor around it too. And I think seeing that shift in people going, like, obviously, I think it's the shift of like the public in general being like, all right, I'm way on board for pop culture stuff. And the opportunity to meet a celebrity too. And it's all at a pretty nominal price. It's way cheaper than, what I used to do was like, I would be out in LA and just like hope I ran into somebody in the airport or at the coffee beanery. Yeah. There's a great Robert Downey Jr. story in there somewhere, but it wasn't mine. It made me too chicken to approach him. But I just watched a guy bomb really hard, and it was like that's almost better than meeting him for real. Where I was like, oh, he's too in front of us. And the guy just kept doing so what's up, Iron Man? And you can imagine Mr. Downey Jr. hadn't heard that before, and he did like totally in character. He's like, oh, I've never, no one's ever said that to me before. And I'm just like, oh, this is a way better story than anything. What was I going to say to him? What did you get to drink today? Anyway, love that one. But no, so anyway, the public getting so excited about this overall, I'm seeing so much. I couldn't imagine 15 years ago my mom texting me about Yellow Jackets or something like that, right? And now she's like, what do you think Mr. Quigley's up to? You know what I mean? And like, there's just a whole different way that we're approaching the landscape, and I feel like it's got to be hugely beneficial. But you guys, to me, are like the pioneers in making it become a thing.
No, I appreciate that. No,
you're welcome.
It's been fun. I mean, I will say, like, when I see cousins or aunts or uncles like comment on, we just added Henry Winkler's coming to the show, and it's like, everyone wants to come meet Henry Winkler.
Yeah. Kathy Lane called me this morning. She's like, they're bringing in the Fonz? And I was like, I did just find out about that. And she's a little immunocompromised. She's like, how do I get in there? And I was like, well, Kathy, for the right price. And to me, that's double whatever he's asking for it. You can get that autograph.
But it does pose the question, did HorrorHound just jump the shark?
Now we have to do that. Listen, come back in a week, guys, right before the festival. I'll get a tank up here and a shark in the tank. I'll learn to do it. We'll go up to Wake Nation or whatever it's called up there.
Yeah.
Are there, this year the lineup's crazy. I feel like you guys have a lot of musicians this year too, if I'm not mistaken. More than normal, right? Yeah.
We tried. That's you asked about what's one of the more difficult parts of doing this. It's when you work really hard on something and it doesn't come to fruition.
Sure.
It's like whatever people see, they're only seeing what succeeded in the back room, when we're negotiating. So like we had an early on like concept of like, oh, let's do an all music show. And it stemmed from, Ozzy Osbourne did his first convention a year or so ago, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And after that, they determined they're like, oh, it doesn't work. He can't travel. It's his health and everything. It's like if you guys want to do this, come to California and do it, which we've done a couple.
Sure.
So we started considering it. We're like, oh, just do an all music show, but it would seem stupid to go out and do that for the possibility of his health suddenly taking a turn. And
you can't even imagine.
Because any day he could have an off day. Who knows? Right. With what he's dealing with. And so when we started working on this show, we secured Corey Taylor from Slipknot, and we were like, should we do the music thing for this? So the original plan was, yes, 100%. So we had, at the time, Alice Cooper was on board.
Oh, my gosh.
And Dee Snider. Yeah. We were going to have Gore.
Oh, that would be a great one.
It was this whole thing, but various reasons keep some of it from happening.
Sure.
Scheduling conflict. So we still have a nice musical lineup.
Yeah, because I saw you like Randy Blythe from Lamb of God and a few other ones too.
We were getting really good ones. And,
yeah.
The Spencer Charnas from Ice Nine Kills.
Oh, cool.
That's
going to be amazing.
A huge hit for nerd fans like us,
That's so cool. It's a great idea. I really, actually, and now I'm like, I really think you should do the music one.
Yeah, yeah. But it shows how hard it is to actually, when you have a plan.
Right.
Plans are for suckers.
I always said, and I think I stole, now I'm going back to Nikki Sixx. I'm like, did I steal this from one of his books? But a plan is just a list of things that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where I'm like, just cast a huge net, hope for the best, and see what happens. I am really excited for the musical angle this year. That was one of the ones when we were talking about sponsorship opportunities. I was like, pushing. I was like, look, there's a lot of musicians I'd like to meet. Please don't ruin this for me. I'm like, what do I have to do to make it happen?
We got you, Mark.
I know. Seriously, I was locked in. I was like, first call in, I was ready to go. And you caught me on the worst day of 2024, I think.
Sorry
one of
about
them. Well, one of two. No, not your fault. It was just like a funny time where I'm like, who is this? And I just really done something gnarly to my arm, and I could not use my left hand. And it was just funny. But you kind of turned the day around because I was like, okay, this is actually fun.
I'm surprised you picked up. I was going to call about your car warranty. So
you should ask.
Yeah. So.
That's not my car. That's the good move. I was like, yeah, what do they do about stolen warranties?
Yeah, maybe I could have helped you. I don't know.
We'll work something. That'll be for the Jungle Gyms after hours show.
Yeah.
We'll work out all of our illicit deals.
We will.
I'm into it. Oh, I forgot. I want to open the shirt while we're on here. This is like the best part of Christmas. And I joke about this every time I have a guest on that brings me something nice like this. I'm just telling the rest of you. You want me to answer those emails faster. The exchange rate is 1 t-shirt. No, I love the design. Seriously, though, this is awesome. Let's pull it out.
Yeah.
I'll be
I
wearing
can
this.
see that on you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. It definitely fits the wardrobe. I have a lot of
Yes.
these colors in there, if you can imagine.
Yeah.
A lot of pinks,
Can see,
you know?
Yes. Yeah. Pink is good for you.
This is cool. Hell yeah. Sorry, I got lost in the moment.
No, you're
I'm just,
fine.
like, still looking
I
at
was going to mention the
magazine.
the music theme does carry over to other elements of the show. So when you come to the show, we'll have an exclusive magazine that's only sold at this convention.
Oh, cool.
And it's all about horror and metal. And
I love that.
yeah.
This is cool, too. Oh, my gosh. Scream. You know what? Let's talk about Scream for just like 2 seconds. Never thought that was going to stand the test of time. Not in a mean way, but like the first one's so great. The second one was still surprisingly good. I thought 3 was going to end it all. I personally just put 100% of the blame on Courtney Cox's bangs in that movie. And then I'm sure that's one of those, like, I know that now that she's a meme. I can't imagine that feels good. She seems like a nice lady, you know?
She does.
Seems like she'd take it in stride.
I hope so, you know? But yeah, crazy to think I just saw the thing about Scream 7. I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
No, it's weird how the nostalgia kicked in, which makes sense. I mean, this nostalgia has cycles.
Right.
Power Rangers is popular again.
Yeah. Well, dude, going to Toy Fair, it was just like, oh, hey, you remember everything you liked when you were a little kid, Mark? Yeah. Well, guess what? It's been 30 years, and they're all back. How many different Ninja Turtles do you think you're going to see today? And the answer was almost every booth had something Ninja Turtles related. That's another brand I kind of can't believe stood the test of time, you know?
Right.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
Fun fact, there was no Ninja Turtles at Loyal Subjects, though.
Really?
I think they got lost the license or something. Yeah.
Playmates is out there. Big Playmates out there muscling everybody out.
Yeah, they are. They truly are.
It is kind of weird to see that, too. You saw it, to me, I saw it with Hasbro, Mattel. All nice people, I'm sure. Like some of those brands. And I was like, wow, you have like your own wing. That's kind of aggressive, you know, compared to like, you know, the rest of the booths were like the size of this table, you know? Oh, sorry. Got distracted. One of the questions I was thinking about as we were doing this, or I figured I'd go around the room and see who are you. We'll start this side, Jody. Who are you most excited to have there this year?
It's got to be Ty West.
Oh,
I'm such a huge fan of his directing.
Yeah.
So I was a fan in House of the Devil.
Yep.
And then, you know, you got X, Pearl, and
the whole
Maxine, you know, so it's him.
The world that gave us Mia. Yeah, I'm into it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Exactly.
Super cool.
So,
great choice.
Yep.
I always show up with my headshots too, where I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's so nice to meet you.
Pass
Would you
on
autograph this? Oh, you won't? Cool. Well, just maybe continuously think about me for the rest of your life. You know?
Like, just remember, Cincinnati has good
fault you for
tax
that.
credits.
Yeah, exactly. How about you, Jessica?
Oh my gosh. Henry Winkler definitely is my number one.
Yeah.
I've met him once before, and he's just amazing. He makes you feel so special.
Aww.
Like he touched my face, you guys.
Oh my God.
And he called me lovely.
Aww.
And, oh, he just melted my heart. He was so sweet. And goddamn, he's so handsome.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hold
come
him
on,
up, baby.
guys.
I know.
Fonzie.
Right.
Can I pull Ty West back out and put Henry Winkler in there? So,
Honestly, I'm okay with it. We can go more than one.
can I
I'm
put
not.
both in there? And okay, all right.
They're
so,
both jumping a
yeah.
shark together.
I,
Shark jumping directed by.
Ty West, of
Yeah,
course.
I
There we
think
go.
honestly,
There we go.
I think we're onto something. I
we
love
are.
that. I love the Henry Winkler answer. I think that's so good.
So handsome.
I love that he's going back to Scream, another place where we a bit of a career resurgence there, and I really loved him on Barry.
Oh, we loved Barry so
good.
much.
I was a not, how do I say this nicely, not a huge Bill Hader guy before Barry.
Oh.
And now I'm like, are you maybe one of the greatest minds of our generation, Mr. Hader? All that from Oklahoma. Love that for us, you know?
You want to feel really odd about him. Watch his Criterion Closet.
Yes.
Because he made me feel foolish. Because I would have been putting like Chasing Amy and The Rock and RoboCop in my, and he's picking movies I've never even heard of, and he's talking about the history of this French photographer. Blah, blah, and I'm just like, all right, he is much more than I thought he was.
Yeah, because and at the time I wasn't watching a lot of Saturday Night Live, so I was just like, I'd see the clips. I'm like, he's fine. It wasn't like I hated him. I was just like, all right, that's fine, whatever. There's too many funny people out there, so I was kind of at that point where I was like, I got enough. It's cool. And then like he just really hit that note for me in so many regards. And then you get to learn that this guy is like incredibly well versed in art in general. Yeah, it would be because I would be the same way. And I kept joking. It's funny you made that comment because I was like, first thought I had was like, if I get in there ever one day, I'm pulling The Rock. I'm pulling only Michael Bay movies. You know what I mean? Like, what's something like The Rock, Armageddon's on here? Do you have anything else trashy? I was like, is there a Bad Boys movie I can get? You know what I mean? But how about for you, Nathan? Who are you most excited about?
I'm a weird one. I go for who I need more stuff
Lorraine
signed
Bracco.
by.
Love that. Oh, yeah.
Lorraine Bracco is pretty cool.
Yeah, seriously.
She's
Dr.
awesome.
Melfi, let's go.
Yeah.
I just saw Sopranos for the first
I
time in
was
the last
shocked.
year or two. So
So did she.
yeah, that's awesome. Did you enjoy it?
Oh my gosh, I loved it so much.
Yeah.
We powered through it.
Yep.
Powered through
How
it.
could
Yeah, it
you
was like
not?
I was bitter the whole time. I was like, it took me 10 years for this to come out. And you're watching it in 10 weeks.
Yeah, seriously. It was like that, though, when I got it, because it was like,
Yeah.
was it right before I started? It must have been right before I started working here, actually. Funny. So it's been a couple of years, but still only like 3 or 4 years. But it was like the few weeks I had off before I started working at Jungle Gyms. I just remember it was like all day, every day. I'm like, I'm almost a season in the first day. Like, this is great. And it was beautiful to me, too, because it was one of those shows where you'd heard it was great for so long.
Yeah.
And I often refer to what I'll call the Beatles effect, which is that I'm not like, I don't dislike them, but I heard all of the things they inspired first. So going backwards, I'm like, oh, that's pretty good, but I really like the stuff you inspired even more, so I'm going to focus there. And I was afraid of that with Sopranos, where I was like, this is a show that probably inspired a lot of things I liked, but then I'm going to come back and be like, well, no, Better Call Saul, though, right? But then watching it, I was like, no, this one's still top tier.
Yep.
No one jumped off that.
Yeah,
They were too busy jumping off Dexter and Game of Thrones.
Yeah, right?
Right.
They're like, can we do an expensive, high-budget show? I'm like, no, just set it in New Jersey, put it in an office. You know what I mean? As silly as that is, I bet the budget on that probably wasn't crazy. Damn, I got to look that up now. I'm sorry. Yeah, we derailed from people you needed an autograph from. But, Lorraine Bracco, right?
Well, Ty West.
Ty
which
West.
She already said.
Yeah.
I think I have just in because I'm a collector.
I was going to say, I bet your collection's wild.
It's dumb. And yeah.
It is. I've seen it.
If something ever happens to me, I always joked we have to go at the same time because one of us can't be responsible for taking care of the rest of the crap. So I got a lot of stuff to get signed for Innkeepers and the X trilogy
Still going. I'm so sorry. Just panic for a second.
for him.
Yeah.
In Your Next because he was an actor in Your Next.
Yep. That was great, too. That came out of nowhere. It was really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's another good example though. I get the most excited about what the shows is when we do stuff that's new. In the fall of last year, we had an Abigail reunion.
Okay.
Which I don't think any other convention's
That
even
was
going to
insane.
bother with it.
No,
Yeah.
That's cool, though.
That was something that I was just like, we knew we could pull it off, and at the same time pull off a Lisa Frankenstein group.
Oh, yeah.
And also do some Scream because that's kind of the modern stuff with Melissa Barrera and whatnot.
Right.
But for this show, I get excited about little things like that with. I mean, it's not that modern, but the Evil Dead trilogy or the 2013 film,
Right.
But the
What was it?
Terrifier 3 is new,
Right.
Heart Eyes. We have the stunt man who played the killer and
cool.
Sawa. So anything like that where we were able to pull in something brand new and fresh, I get so excited.
Oh, I bet.
When Your Next came out, I think within 2 years of that coming out, we had a reunion with the star, and I think we had like 6 people from that movie.
That's
So I'm
so
excited
cool.
to get Ty West on all my stuff.
That's really cool. I love how excited you are too. It's like really, I hate to be like, it's cute, but it's cute. I'm sorry to use that word. But it is. I love it, dude. No, it's one of those things, right? Like I get very excited about anybody that's like genuinely passionate about this kind of stuff. Obviously, this is something that matters a lot to you guys. And I think it's cool that it's something that's right down the street here. That was why, I mean, look, for us, like we talked on the phone, I was like, yeah, you guys are right down the street. This makes so much sense. You know, something I thought I'd jump in real quick. Any thought about what you're buying snack-wise? Or we still got to do that, right?
I'm not sure yet. It's
Let me
got to
put
be
you on the
something
spot.
tasty late at night.
Yes,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
I got a few things in mind.
Okay.
We can get
Well,
wild
I
with it.
mean,
That'd
I
be
might
fun.
need your recommendations.
I will. Then I'll start working on some
Okay,
of those too.
all right.
Yeah, because I know we had talked about maybe doing it together. So
Yeah.
if that's the case, we'll set it up.
I get
don't-
tired of the
I'm
same
doing
old,
all of
same
my
old.
clerical stuff on
Yeah.
the show. I'm like, oh, let's set up times now.
Yeah.
Pull out your calendar.
We'll get it down because I need something really good.
Yeah,
so.
I think we can come up with something fun.
Okay.
That'd be cool.
All right.
Jessica, you have anything fun coming up? I'm assuming you had a lot to do with the zine that's coming out for this, right? Because you said you were doing copy editing, right?
Yeah, exactly. I
She
don't
copy
know the
edits in her spare
ABCs
time.
anymore, and somebody shocked me.
In a good or a bad way?
Yeah.
Perfect. I know that. That's why I like to lean in a little ambiguous, shocking. That's perfect. I'm looking so forward to this, everyone. A couple questions I want to have. If you can believe it, we're almost like towards the end of the show.
Oh.
Where can we get tickets for everything right now?
Right now, it's all on HorrorHoundWeekend.com.
Perfect. Are we sold
Very
out
simple.
yet of anything?
Pre-sale pricing on Saturday just sold out.
Congratulations. Love that.
Thanks. We take precautions to assure weekend passes don't sell out prior to the show. So it's become pretty regular that the Saturdays go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then VIP, platinums, those are long gone. Early admissions, long gone.
Yeah.
So otherwise, everything's available at the door at full price.
Perfect. That's awesome.
As far as discounts, Friday, Sunday, and weekend.
Perfect. Love that. Congratulations. I'm glad to be a part of it. And then I guess everyone, I'll tell you for this right here, and I'll probably also have said it in the show intro that I'll tape separately. We're doing a couple giveaways here. So tune into Jungle Jim's social media. I'm assuming you can tune into HorrorHound social media too, because I'm going to send them the collab request. But tune into there, and you get all the details for that here very soon, because this episode is airing very shortly after we tape this. I just want to make sure we got like a couple weeks ahead of it. So I'm so excited. This lineup this year is going to be so crazy, and I'm glad. You know, we went a couple years back and played around a little bit, and I was having guests. I just went as like regular patrons. We're like, I've got some snacks with me. I'll have to send you guys the link. But we went through and we were like feeding people bugs and other international candies and stuff like that. But I will never forget this one kid that ate one of the tarantulas. He's just like,
Oh.
what if tortilla chips were made out of burnt hair? That was how he described the tarantula. I was like,
Oh.
I honestly was slightly more interested after that, because before I was like, I don't like bugs. I don't know what they're going to taste like.
Why is
I'm like,
that kid not here with us today?
yeah, exactly. I think he passed away shortly after the tarantula.
Makes sense.
In memoriam of that kid. That was amazing. Anything you want to make sure that gets said before we call it a day?
Keep an eye on our social media, HorrorHound Weekend at HorrorHound Weekend. We still have stuff to announce.
I can't wait.
We haven't even announced our Saturday after hours.
Oh,
Which
that's
is
right.
totally cool. So
That's what Jessica's in charge of too.
It's
Oh.
true. It's true.
See?
Should we mention?
Yeah, who are
Yeah.
you? Who are you contacting?
Recording.
Yeah.
Who are you coordinating?
Well, we're gonna have Clownvis perform.
That's awesome. Clap is
If
always a good
you've
time.
Never seen Clownvis?
Yes.
He's amazingly funny, and yeah, it's just a very good time. And then we have Corey Taylor from Slipknot, who's going to be performing a solo
Acoustic set.
acoustic set.
That's
yeah.
amazing.
yeah.
Is that included with a certain ticket tier?
Oh, it's a complicated mess.
Okay.
No.
Love a complicated mess.
No.
No, it's guaranteed for Platinum VIP.
Okay.
It's free to any weekend pass holder as long as capacity allows.
Okay, perfect. Love that. That's easy enough. That's amazing. Cool. Can't wait. He's one of the ones I'm like really gunning for. I'm like, I just want to eat international lays with him.
We're very lucky. We're very lucky he agreed. He's,
Yeah. He's a
gonna be
real
really
fan.
fun.
I always like when he shows up on anything else that's not directly tied to what he's doing. Like, it's like not in his specific lane. And I'm just like, oh, you know a lot about movies. Oh, you know a lot about these like collectibles. You know what I mean? I find it always so fascinating, because I don't know. It's so exciting to me. And the fact that they're coming to my town, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You can't
It's our town. I didn't
That's
mean to
right.
take too much ownership.
like you
Don't
said.
fish us out,
Otherwise,
you know.
it's flying to LA and hanging out at the grocery store and hoping you run into him one day.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Corey Taylor, if you'd like to come sing in the grocery store, I'd love to have you.
You might want a trip to Jungle Gems.
That would be. Look, that's always what I'm hoping. I was like, come on in. It's fine. We're right up the road. We got
exactly.
something fun going on. I got plenty of snacks in here. I am so thankful for you guys. I'm really excited for this partnership. Like I said, off camera a bunch. Well, not just to you, but to internally. I really hope this is the start of a good thing for all of us. So thank you for like reaching out to us in the first place.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this. And
Yeah.
I better see every single one of you at HorrorHound this weekend because I'll be there trying to feed you tarantulas again. Have you had any burnt hair lately? I'd love for you to find out what that was like. Cool. Let me wrap it up. In the meantime, thank you all so much for tuning into the show. See you at the HorrorHound Festival. Make sure you go to horrorhoundweekend.com, correct? Tickets, information, all that stuff. We'll see you there this weekend. In the meantime, I'll see you out there in the aisles. The Jungle Gyms podcast is recorded in the WJJI studio inside Jungle Gyms International Market in Fairfield, Ohio. The Jungle Gyms podcast is produced and hosted by Mark Borison.